Wow, grocery shopping with a professional chef is an amazing experience. I'm impressed by the well-organized way you shop and how you know everything by heart. I have to be well-organized because of my job, but I also really like grocery shopping. I could spend hours looking at all the products, so my list helps me stay focused and manage my time well. I've never done it with a list that was organized like yours. You would arrange your list into sections that matched the layout of the grocery store. That really saved time. What were those headings again? I start with the canned fruits and vegetables, spices, grains, and baking ingredients because they won't spoil or get crushed on the bottom of my cart while I do the rest of my shopping. Then I head for the fresh fruits and vegetables section. Next, I go to the dairy and the deli sections, followed by the bread section, and finally the meat, poultry, fish, and frozen food section. I don't bother with the aisles that have things I don't need. Most stores have a similar design, with the fresh produce, meats, poultry, fish, deli products, and breads laid out along the outer walls of the store. Hello, my name is Matthew, and as you've already heard, I'm a chef. I own a catering business. My colleague, Patricia, works at the Moores UCSD Cancer Center, where she teaches people how to stay healthy. Patricia and I are excited to talk with you today about staying healthy through smart grocery shopping and meal preparation. Let's start with grocery shopping, Patricia. Obviously, we want to save money, find good deals, and create healthier meals. And that means grocery shopping wisely, right? Do you have any ideas? Before I go to the grocery store, I tend to plan in advance. First, I check the store's ads to find out what's on sale. I only buy as much fresh food as can be eaten shortly thereafter. As a rule, I never shop on an empty stomach. If I do, I'm tempted to buy things I don't really need. To find the healthiest food options, it is important to read and compare nutrition labels. Reading the nutrition label is really important for making healthy food choices. Let's look at a food label. The first thing to check on the label is the number of servings per container. That information is on the very top of the label. Below that, the label shows the nutritional values for each serving. For example, if you have a product that has 2 servings per container and you consume the whole container, that means you ate twice what is listed on the nutrition label. This soup label shows that a serving size is 1 cup, and there are 2 servings in the container. Next, look at the label for the nutritional value per serving. First, you'll see the total number of calories in 1 serving. Next, you can see the actual amount of the nutrients in a single serving. For better health, you want to limit total fat, especially the 3 bad fats: saturated fat, trans fat, and cholesterol. Eating them in high amounts can cause heart disease. You also want to limit your sodium, as it can lead to high blood pressure. It is important that you do not eat a lot of sugars and avoid foods labeled added sugar. On the other hand, it is important to get enough of the healthy nutrients, like protein, fiber, vitamins A and C, calcium, and iron. How do our viewers know if a food is high or low in a nutrient? Great question. You should look at the percent of daily value. You can see that on the right side of the nutrients amounts. Listed there is the percentage of your total requirement for each nutrient found in that food. Exactly. The percent of daily value shows you how much of each nutrient you are getting in one serving based on an adult balanced diet of 2,000 calories a day. If the percent of daily value is 5% or less, the product is low in that nutrient. You want saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium to be low. The nutrients you want high percentages of are fiber, vitamins A and C, calcium, and iron. For example, let's look at a can of nuts I have here. The label says it contains 6 ounces of nuts. Each serving is 1 ounce and has 150 calories. If I eat 3 ounces, which is half of the can, 3 servings times 150 calories, that's 450 calories. That's a lot of calories. I had no idea. I agree. Many packages contain more than 1 serving. When you look at the food label, the important things to ask yourself are, what is the serving size? How many servings are in the package? How many servings do you want to eat? Then check the calories and ask yourself, how many calories are in 1 serving? How many total calories do you want to eat? Let's talk about the ingredient list now. That's at the bottom of the nutrition label. The ingredients in the product are listed on the label starting with the ingredients in the largest proportion, followed by ingredients in smaller amounts. This is very important to read carefully. You want to buy the products with the best nutrients in the greatest quantities. If you're buying fish, frozen breaded fish for example, and the first ingredient listed is fish, that's good. But if the first ingredient listed is bread, then it's better to avoid that product. You want to get the best value for your money. Let's talk about our favorite topic, the fruits and vegetables group. Fall, winter, summer, and spring each have different seasonal fruits and vegetables in abundance that are fresh and cheap. You should think about including these items when you plan your meals for the week. If locally grown foods aren't available, many are imported so that they are obtainable year-round. However, locally grown food will be cheaper and fresher. For more variety, visit ethnic grocery stores to see what an amazing variety of fruits and vegetables they sell. If a vegetable or fruit you like is not in season, you can buy it frozen or canned instead. Be sure that when buying fruits, choose those that are packed in their own natural juice, without added sugar. If you're buying vegetables, make sure to select those without added salt. Neither extra sugar nor extra salt is good for us. Vegetables and fruits come in many different colors. We recently mentioned that you should include fruits and vegetables in your meals. When planning your weekly meals, including fruits and vegetables throughout the week will ensure that you have eaten a wide variety of colors of fruits and vegetables. If you commit to eating a variety of vegetables and fruits in different colors, you will get the healthy nutrients you need. There's yellow, red, and green. There's also white, orange, and purple. And those are just some examples. When time is limited, you can wash and prepare your fruits and vegetables in advance, or buy already prepared and washed products. Look for pre-cut on the label of fruits and vegetables. Here's an example. It's simple. Another time saver is to use frozen vegetables and fruits. You can microwave them quickly, and they are ready to eat. It's important to look at the nutrition labels to make sure the ingredients are simple, without fancy additives that tend to be expensive. Simpler products tend to be cheaper. Then, season them at home to your liking, and know they are full of nutrition. For example, look for broccoli. It's only 30 calories per serving and tastes natural because there is nothing added. It's important to always handle your meat, poultry, and seafood products carefully, so that any liquid from those products does not get onto your fresh fruits and vegetables. Sometimes there are bacteria on meat, poultry, or fish, but it is killed when the meat is cooked. But since you often eat fruits and vegetables without cooking them, any bacteria will not be destroyed. It is important to avoid getting these liquids on fruits and vegetables, and you always want to be sure you wash your fruits and vegetables very well before eating them. When you are ready to prepare fruits and vegetables, remember to wash your hands with warm water and soap for 20 seconds. After you've finished the preparations, wash your hands again the same way. Wash the vegetables and fruits thoroughly with running water. For firm produce such as melons and cucumbers, scrub thoroughly. If produce isn't washed well, bacteria can enter the food when you cut it. After washing, dry items with a clean towel. Also, if you notice any bruised or damaged areas on a fruit or vegetable, you can cut and remove those areas, so the rest is still edible. However, if it is badly damaged or smells spoiled, throw it away. Even if you plan to peel a fruit or vegetable, it should be washed well first. That will assure that you don't get bacteria from the surface inside the food. Leafy vegetables and herbs can be washed and put in a salad spinner to remove their excess water. When I notice a fruit that is at risk of getting too ripe and don't want to eat it now, I clean it and then freeze it so that I can use it in a future recipe. For instance, toss frozen fruit in a mixer and blend with low-fat yogurt and ice for a terrific, yummy smoothie. When I have vegetables at risk of spoiling, I toss them in a freezer bag. Later, I can make a soup by cooking them with broth. Soup will help fill you up, and it's low in calories and full of healthy nutrients, such as vitamins and fiber. That's all included in this great vegetable soup. It's great if you're sick or have a cold or something. Look at the recipe later. I get a lot of my favorite recipes from several good websites. The American Institute for Cancer Research's AICR website is one example. We will demonstrate several recipes retrieved from this website in the recipe section. It's neat learning how to prepare and eat healthy meals. And good nutrition helps protect your body against developing many different diseases, such as heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, diabetes, etc. So websites like AICR, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, and a few others have good advice and tips. It's great how they provide information on how to eat well in order to prevent those diseases. They tend to provide long lists of healthy recipes. What about salads? I love salads and collect recipes from all over the world when I travel. There is so much variety, and salads offer another wonderful way to enjoy vegetables and fruits. I'll put one of my favorite salads in the recipe section. It's perfect for parties. Speaking of salads, be careful with salad dressings because they are usually high in fat and calories. It is better to use a low-calorie salad dressing. You can buy it or make it yourself. Let's look at two different ranch dressings to see the differences. The portion size for both is 2 tablespoons. The low-calorie dressing, which is sometimes called light, is 60 calories. While the regular ranch dressing is a full 140 calories. The light dressing contains 9% of daily value of fat, but the regular contains 22%. Clearly, the low-calorie version is the better choice. You can make your own ranch dressing at home. Each 2 tablespoon serving is only 30 calories. After selecting fruits and vegetables, head over to the dairy and deli sections. Look for the products low in fat because animal fat is not healthy. The healthier options are the fat-free or 1% dairy products. That includes milk, yogurt, sour cream, cottage cheese, and other cheeses. Choosing the low-fat dairy products saves a lot of calories. Take a look at this chart of milk products, which include fat-free, 1%, 2%, and whole milk, and compares the fat and calories of each. Some people find it hard to switch from whole milk to a lower fat version, but it's much easier if they make the change gradually. I didn't like 1% milk, but it was no big deal. Here's what I did. Start by mixing whole milk with 2% milk for a couple of days until you get used to it. Next, mix 2% milk with 1% milk for a couple of days. It takes some adjusting. Finally, be brave and go with pure 1% milk. Now I don't even like whole milk. I've been drinking 1% ever since. Milk is a good source of vitamin D. Did you know that vitamin D is added to almost all milk in the U.S., regardless of the percent of fat in the milk? Go to the deli section where you will find many items to help with the preparation of healthy meals. For example, a sandwich can be a healthy meal if it's made with whole grain bread, low-fat cheese, turkey, and a lot of vegetables. Let's compare the nutrition labels for two cheeses, 2% milk cheese and regular milk cheese. While the 2% cheese has only 50 calories, the other one has 110. The 2% cheese has 4% DV fat, while the regular has 14%. The 2% cheese has 10% DV saturated fat, while the regular has 30%. Clearly, the 2% cheese is a much healthier option. I'm curious about other sandwich ingredients. What about meat and poultry, like turkey or chicken, for instance? Lunch meats have fat percentages ranging from low to high, depending on the type of meat or poultry. As we said earlier, animal fat is not healthy because of its high saturated fat content, which can increase the risk for heart disease. It is important to read the label closely. I want to talk about bacon. Let's compare two bacon choices, a low-fat turkey bacon and a regular pork bacon. Unbelievably, the turkey bacon has 20 calories, while the regular pork bacon has 90. There is no fat in the turkey bacon and 11% in the regular bacon. There is no saturated fat in the turkey bacon and 13% in the regular bacon. The turkey bacon is clearly much healthier. How do you determine which is the best bread option? Look for whole wheat bread because they are made from grains that have not been refined. They contain more fiber, which, as you know, is better for us. White bread products are made from refined grains, which remove fiber and reduce nutrients. Let's compare whole wheat and white bread. A serving is equal to one slice. The whole wheat bread has 70 calories, while the white has 120. There are 6 grams of fiber in the whole wheat, but less than 1 in the white. Of course, the whole wheat bread is the better option. Moreover, the whole wheat bread has more calcium and iron. Take a look at the nutrition labels for each bread. When buying tortillas, make sure they are whole wheat or corn. Let's include mushroom quesadillas. It's good for a Friday night party with guests. Look at the recipe later. Beside breads, there are many other good examples of whole grain foods. These include whole wheat pasta, brown rice, quinoa, oats, barley, bulgur wheat, and couscous. These products are especially handy and are so easy to prepare. You can find them in the inner aisle area labeled grains. When looking at the nutrition label, it is important to check that the first word listed is whole, meaning whole grain. If it's not first, it's not made from 100% whole grains. For rice, it should say brown rice. You also want to compare the calories, fiber, and iron to select the healthier option. Shop for fish, poultry, and meat last so that those items stay cold. After shopping, go straight home and refrigerate those items right away. Fish is the healthiest choice. For that reason, we should try to eat 3 ounces of fish 1 or 2 times a week. However, big fish tend to be high in mercury, which is a dangerous metal, because they spend a lot of time in dirty water. That is why pregnant women and children should avoid eating shark, swordfish, king mackerel, and tilefish. Those are only a few examples. When selecting fish, don't buy anything that is not firm to the touch or that smells badly. Frozen fish are good too, but be sure to thaw it overnight in the refrigerator and not on the counter at room temperature. I will demonstrate some great fish recipes in the recipe section. They are perfect if you are hosting friends. Apart from eating fish 1 to 2 times a week, you should eat lean protein from animal sources like lean meat, poultry, and low-fat dairy products, or protein from plant sources like beans, lentils, and other legumes throughout the rest of the week. Always choose lower fat options. For example, chicken thighs are higher in calories and fat than chicken breasts. Chicken skin is fatty and unhealthy, so it is best to remove the skin before or after cooking. When selecting meat, buy lean cuts of beef, such as round, chuck, sirloin, or tenderloin. Choose lean pork or lamb cuts, such as the tenderloin, loin chops, or leg. When buying ground meats, pick those with the lowest amount of fat. 90% fat-free or higher is best. To make meat and poultry healthier, cut off any visible fat. This includes the skin on meat or poultry. As a chef, I like to freeze the meat for about an hour. The meat won't freeze solid, but it makes it easier to cut and discard the fat before eating. I do this with my chicken lettuce wrap. Look at the recipe section later if you plan to host friends. That's a great tip, Matt. It is also important to use low-fat cooking methods, such as broiling, roasting, and baking. Cooking meat or poultry tends to produce a lot of grease. A good way to cook meat is to place it on a rack on a baking pan so that the fat drips away and separates the food from the grease. It's a bad idea to deep fry because it adds a lot of unhealthy fat and calories. Sautéing with a small amount of oil is a more reasonable cooking method. Another excellent way to reduce fat is to make the food ahead and then chill it in the refrigerator, so that the fat will rise to the top, harden, and be easy to remove. Here's a beef and onion broth I made yesterday. That's thick. Imagine that in your body. That's bad and should be thrown away. I do the same with my chili too. Look at the recipe section later. So now that we have covered everything, the key to eating healthy meals is balance. Think about a typical plate. Half of what is on your plate should be vegetables. Quarter should be lean protein. And the final quarter should be whole grains. Be careful with the portion sizes and don't overfill your plate. The lean protein should be about 3 ounces, or about the size of a deck of cards. A serving of whole grains is about 1 cup, which is about the size of a baseball. Here's an example of how your plate should look. For people who don't eat meat, fish, or poultry, eating low-fat dairy and eggs is an excellent source of protein. For vegans who don't eat any animal products like meat, fish, dairy, or eggs, it is important to incorporate plant proteins like soy and soy products, beans, lentils, and other legumes, along with whole grains into their meals. What does a vegan plate look like? Quinoa and beans, whole wheat pasta with tofu, and lentils with brown rice are just some examples. I have a great recipe for a salad bowl that is a complete balanced vegan meal with ingredients like quinoa and beans. Look at the recipe later. Quiches are another group of recipes I like to make because they are a complete meal in one dish. A quiche is a mixture of eggs, low-fat cheeses, and vegetables that is baked. In many recipes that call for eggs, like quiches, you can replace some whole eggs with egg whites. When measuring, substitute 2 egg whites, which have the yolk separated out, for every whole egg. This saves a lot of calories. 1 egg contains 80 calories, 60 of which are in the yolk, which is mostly fat and cholesterol. An egg white has only 20 calories. I'll show my favorite quiche recipe in the recipe section. Each year, many people get sick from food that was handled improperly. When making food, it is very important to follow 4 basic rules in order to keep the food safe. Keep hands and utensils clean. Separate raw food from cooked foods. Cook to safe temperatures. And put leftovers in the refrigerator before they cool. For more information about food safety, look at the ASL video on this website. That's neat. My husband's birthday is coming soon. A low-fat cake recipe? Of course, we can't forget the important topic of desserts. The healthiest desserts are fruit. It's easy to mix non-fat yogurt with chopped fruits and nuts to make parfaits. I like to layer ingredients in a wine glass to make it pretty. For special occasions, you want a delicious cake, right? Can it be healthy? People might say no, but that's not true. I have a good cake recipe. You can find it in the recipe section. How do I do it? I substitute good, healthy fruit puree, such as prune puree or applesauce for some of the oil. For example, if a recipe calls for 1 cup of oil, I use 1/3 cup of oil and 2/3 cup of fruit puree. Another example, I replace chocolate with unsweetened cocoa powder, which cuts the fat significantly. Another tip is to replace dairy products with fat-free or low-fat versions. For example, non-fat yogurt or sour cream can replace regular sour cream. I will replace anything I can to reduce calories and fat in cake. I can increase fiber by replacing half of the white flour in the recipe with an equal amount of whole wheat pastry flour or spelt flour. For example, if a recipe calls for 1 cup of white flour, use 1/2 white and 1/2 whole wheat. Spelt is cool. It has more fiber and more protein. I also have a few secret tricks. If a recipe calls for 1 cup of nuts, I use 2/3 of a cup, but chop the nuts into tiny pieces so you taste them in every bite. Remember in quiche, I reduced the fat and calories by using egg whites or store-bought ready-to-use egg substitute. I also cut out 1/4 to 1/3 of the sugar in a recipe. My staff just made a cake for my cafe, and it's ready now. Great! That chocolate looks delicious. All this talk about food has made me really hungry. Perfect. How can you make an easy soup with healthy vegetables? I'll demonstrate this soup, called chayote squash soup with cilantro sour cream. This recipe is from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC website. First, measure flour, milk, water, vegetable broth, and sour cream. Thoroughly wash the chayote squash and chop it so it looks like this. Cut up the yellow pepper and chop the onion. Add 2 garlic cloves, fresh ginger, and 1 teaspoon of canola oil. Put the oil in a pan and saute the onion and garlic until the onion is translucent. Add the flour and ginger and stir constantly at medium heat for 2 minutes. Add the squash, yellow pepper, and 2 cups of the vegetable broth while stirring and bring to a boil. Reduce heat and cook until the squash is soft, around 20 minutes. Put everything into a blender and blend until smooth. Transfer to a large pot and add the remaining water and vegetable broth and continue heating. Now it's ready to eat or store in the refrigerator. The container can also be frozen until you're ready to eat it. Now, the soup is ready. Lastly, this is cilantro sour cream. It's really neat. Just mix in low-fat milk, fat-free sour cream, and chopped cilantro. This soup is good for 6 servings, with only 100 calories in each bowl. Now, let's talk about salad. One of my favorite salads is called arugula and roasted beet salad with goat cheese dressing. From the American Diabetes Association website. First, wrap the beets in foil so they look like this. Put them on a metal baking sheet and roast for 45 minutes to 1 hour until tender. You know they are finished when you can pierce them with a fork easily. Take them out of the oven, unwrap the foil, and leave them to cool. Meanwhile, wash baby arugula and leave to dry. Shred carrots and set aside. For the dressing, I use vinegar or white wine or lemon juice. I like to use lemon juice because it has more flavor. Mix this together with mustard, sugar, and garlic in a bowl. Then add the goat cheese and stir gently. Now slowly add the oil, stirring as you go, until the dressing is well mixed. Add a little bit of pepper to taste. Rinse the beets under running water and peel with a vegetable peeler. Cut each beet into 6 wedges. Sprinkle the shredded carrots on top of the salad and add the 3 beets. Beautiful! This salad is cool and has 6 servings. It has great antioxidants and fiber with only 75 calories. Really healthy. Quesadillas are so easy to make. You just sauté a few ingredients, assemble the tortillas, fold them, and bake them in the oven. I will demonstrate with the mushroom quesadilla recipe from the American Heart Association website. Preheat oven to 350 degrees. Start by slicing a half an onion and setting it aside. It should look like thin rings. Then wash 3 cups of mushrooms and slice. Chop garlic and cilantro. Heat 1 teaspoon of canola oil in a pan. Sauté mushrooms, onion, and garlic in pan over medium heat until onion is tender, about 5 to 7 minutes. Stir in cilantro and remove from heat. Divide the mushroom mixture into thirds. Now assemble the whole wheat tortillas. Arrange the mushroom mixture and 2 tablespoons of the low-fat cheese on half of 1 tortilla. It should look like this. Place on a baking sheet. Repeat 2 more times to make 3 quesadillas total. Bake quesadillas for about 5 minutes or until they're hot and cheese melts. Cut each tortilla into 4 wedges. This recipe makes 6 servings. Each 2-wedge serving has 80 calories. Fish is healthy for us and easy to make. I will demonstrate with an oven-roasted Mediterranean-style fish recipe. From the American Institute for Cancer Research. Preheat the oven to 450 degrees. Cut 4 pieces of foil, 12 inches long. Have 4 pieces of fish, 4 ounces each. You can use any fish fillets you prefer. Salmon, halibut, cod, or others. Finely chop 2 garlic cloves and rub onto the fish. Sprinkle 1 teaspoon of lemon juice over the fish. Slice 2 medium zucchinis and half of a red onion thinly. Place the zucchini and red onion on the fish. Use the vegetable peeler to peel the orange. You should get 4 thin strips of orange rind, like this. Chop the basil and sprinkle it on the fish with ground pepper. Top with 2 teaspoons of olive oil. It looks good. Do you want to know how to make this? I'll show you a demonstration. Take the foil. Add the garlic for more flavor. Done! It's better to fold the foil on top so no juice leaks out. Place on a metal baking sheet. Bake fish for 15 minutes. Afterwards, it smells good. Now it's ready. It smells good. Hot! Ouch! Skinless chicken breast is the leanest chicken part. It is a good source of protein, and with vegetables, it can make a filling, healthy dish. Let me demonstrate with this recipe of Mushu chicken lettuce wraps from the American Cancer Society website. First, wash the bunch of lettuce under running water. Cut and remove the bottom and separate the leaves like this. Then chop mushrooms, cabbage, carrots, bell peppers, and scallions, same as green onions. Discard skin from the chicken breast, cut off any fat, and cut into thin strips. In a wok or large pan over high heat, add oil. Sauté the mushrooms for about 1 to 2 minutes. Add chicken, cabbage, carrots, bell peppers, and scallions. And sauté anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes or until tender. Add hoisin sauce and cook for an additional 1 to 2 minutes or until vegetables and chicken are cooked through. If sauce is too thick, I recommend adding 1 tablespoon water. This recipe makes 4 servings with only 185 calories each. I'll show you how to make it. This looks good. It can be messy. Here it is. Chili is a wonderful, easy-to-make, filling dish. You can make chili healthier by using turkey instead of beef, and also including lots of vegetables and beans. I will demonstrate a great chili recipe from the American Institute for Cancer Research website. Start by opening 3 cans of different beans, like kidney beans, garbanzo beans, and black beans. Put the beans in a sieve like this. Drain and set them aside. Open 1 large can of crushed tomatoes, like this. Next, measure 1 cup of frozen corn and 1 cup of low-sodium vegetable tomato juice. Pour 2 tablespoons of oil into a large pot. Chop 2 onions, 5 garlic cloves, and 1 red bell pepper. Put all 3 in the pot and stir until onion is translucent. Garlic is golden brown and pepper is softened. To make it taste spicy and flavorful, put cayenne pepper, cinnamon, oregano, cumin, and chili powder. These 2 are the same in it. Stir for about 30 seconds. Mix in the beans, corn, tomatoes, and tomato juice. Cook on low heat and simmer gently, not boiling, for about 45 minutes, stirring constantly. Then, chop 3 cups of cooked turkey. Add the turkey and simmer on low heat for an additional 15 minutes. Season your chili to taste with pepper and make the chili powder more or less spicy as you prefer. This recipe is great because it serves approximately 10. Let me show it. It has only 290 calories each. Wow! If you have leftovers, don't just waste them. I have another cool idea. You can add a can or 2 of tomato puree to the leftovers to make the sauce thin. That becomes turkey meat sauce. Then, just add a half cup of whole grain pasta for an entirely new pasta dish. Cool! Wow! Let's make a delicious vegan meal with healthy whole grain quinoa and beans. I found this recipe called Quinoa and Black Bean Vegan Salad from the American Institute for Cancer Research website. Start by washing 1½ cups of quinoa in cold running water until water runs clear. Put quinoa in a pot with water. Bring to a boil covered and simmer for 20 minutes or until water is absorbed. Fluff the quinoa with a fork and transfer to a bowl and allow to cool. While the quinoa is cooling, make the salad. Open a can of black beans and put them in a sieve. Rinse them under running water and drain. Put the beans in a bowl and add 1½ cups of cooked corn, either fresh, canned, or frozen. Chop washed, seeded red bell pepper and 4 scallions, like green onions. And add them to the bowl with the beans and corn. For the dressing, put red wine vinegar, lime juice, cumin, salt, extra virgin olive oil, and chopped garlic in a jar. Put the lid on the jar and shake it well. Next, put mixed vegetables and the cooled quinoa together, pour the dressing over, and mix. It should look like this. Beautiful color. This recipe is packed with fiber, protein, and good, healthy fats. It is good for 7 servings and only has 280 calories each. This salad can be kept in the refrigerator for up to about 3 days. It tastes even better the next day after the flavor has been absorbed more. Making quiche with spinach is delicious. This recipe is from the UCSD Moores Cancer Center. Spray a pan with vegetable oil to prevent sticking. Preheat the oven to 380 degrees. Chop 1 medium onion, dice, like this. Sauté 1 tablespoon of canola oil with the onion. Defrost a 1-pound bag of frozen chopped spinach. Put some small holes at the bottom of the bag so you can easily squeeze out liquids and dry the spinach. Add the spinach to the onions in the pan and sauté about 2 minutes. And remove from the heat to let the mixture cool. In a bowl, break and separate 3 eggs and discard the yolks. Get another bowl and add 2 more whole eggs with the yolks to the egg white mixture and mix. Add 2 cups of low-fat cottage cheese. Three-quarter cup of reduced fat mozzarella cheese. And 1/4 cup reduced fat feta cheese to the egg mixture. Mix. Lastly, add the spinach and onion and mix well. Pour the mixture into a baking dish or pan and put it into an oven for about 45 minutes, or until golden brown and beautiful. This main dish is good for 6 servings with only 200 calories each. It's delicious. Want to see what it looks like? Stir-frying is a great way to have a healthy meal in one dish. I will demonstrate this recipe called tofu stir-fry with spicy sauce from the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute website. Here's the tofu. Let me show you how to do it. Cut the block of tofu into pieces. Put paper towels on the plate and lay the tofu on it. Use another paper towel to cover it and press gently. Discard the wet paper towels and again replace with fresh paper towels and press again. Discard the wet paper towels. Keep them in a single layer on the plate. Be careful not to layer the tofu because you will put dressing on them later. In a small bowl, combine cayenne pepper, ginger, teriyaki sauce, sesame oil, and 1/2 cup of the chicken broth. Stir and then pour over the tofu. Leave aside for approximately 20 minutes. Combine the remaining chicken broth and the cornstarch. Mix until cornstarch dissolves. Set aside. While you are waiting, chop the cabbage, green onions or scallions, carrots, and red bell peppers. Slice the water chestnuts. Finally, chop the garlic. In a pan or wok, heat 1 teaspoon of canola oil until very hot, but not smoking. While it's heating, drain and discard dressing. Place tofu slices in a single layer in the pan and cook with cornstarch mixture. Cook half of the tofu at a time. Add the last teaspoon of oil to the pan. Cook half the cabbage with the scallions and garlic. Stir and add the carrots, red peppers, and remaining cabbage. Stir for another 1 minute. Add the water chestnuts and remaining tofu. Pour in the remaining cornstarch mixture. Continue cooking on low heat for another minute or until sauce thickens. Toss and serve immediately. This recipe makes 4 servings, each about 232 calories. This is what it looks like. I went to a Healing Foods cooking class at the UCSD Cancer Center where I learned this delicious chocolate cake recipe. To make this chocolate espresso spelt cake, start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees. Take a springform pan. If you don't know what it looks like, let me show you. It has a removable bottom. Use butter to coat the pan. Then lightly dust with cocoa powder. In a bowl, mix 1 cup of boiling water with espresso powder, vanilla, and baking soda together. Add pitted chopped dates. Mashing lightly with a fork. And set aside until it cools to room temperature, about 10 minutes. In another bowl, whisk together spelt flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, and salt. In another bowl, beat together butter and brown sugar at medium-high speed until fluffy. Mix in 2 eggs, 1 egg at a time. Beat in date mixture and pureed prunes at low speed. And add flour mixture, mixing until just combined. Pour batter into springform pan and bake in the oven about 45 minutes. You'll know it's done when a wooden pick or skewer inserted into the center comes out clean. Leave cake on a rack for 5 minutes to cool. When it's ready, it is easy to remove the side of the pan. To remove the sides, just open the latch and remove the bottom. This makes 16 servings that have about 227 calories, each with 4 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber. Here's what it looks like.